Mommy, I hear the baby.
Hey guys, Brian Connolly here. These last few videos that we've been doing about prayer, we have spent so much time talking about the importance of knowing God the right way and just how important it is, like we were saying last week when Jesus asked the question, who do you say that I am? And depending on how you answer that question will be the very thing that you take with you into prayer. And we have spent so much time talking about how the goal of prayer really comes down, I believe, to one thing, and it's simply seeking God, seeking His face, and knowing Him, so that no matter what it is that you're walking through, I'll just go ahead and say this. I believe, guys, that for the Christian, it's never about what you know, it's about who you know in the face of everything in life that you're walking through. That's where the source of your confidence, your strength, and your faith will come from. You can have faith in the one that you know. When you know His heart towards you, that is where faith is born. That's why it says in Galatians 5:6 that faith works through love. So I actually want to continue, surprise, with this theme again about knowing God the right way. And what does it mean when you're going through hardship, when you're going through trial? Like, how do you pray? Because I think a lot of Christians, we would look at trial, we would look at tribulations, and we would say something like this: I think I did something to open this door. I think I must be doing something wrong. I'm out of God's will. And I just want you to know that, to be honest with you, I think trials and tribulations are an opportunity to grow, to mature, to see the evidence of your faith. They're an opportunity for the Christ in you to get out of you. But a lot of us, we're praying to get out of these things rather than looking for the perseverance to endure these things and knowing that it's endurance that causes us to be perfect and complete and lacking in nothing, according to James chapter 1. In fact, it even says in 1 Peter 1 that the whole purpose of trials and tribulations is for the testing and the revealing of our faith, and that it allows us, guys, to receive as the outcome of our faith the sanctification or the salvation of our souls. In other words, it's trials and tribulations that allow us to see, are we really who we claim to be? Do we really know what we claim to know? And we get to find what's really on the inside of us, and what's inside of us will come on the outside of us when we go through those different times of fiery trial. And I want to talk to you about a time where in David's life, David, when you read the Psalms, guys, he really did have a heart after the Lord. In other words, he really wanted to know who God was. He was broken over things that he did. You know, he was broken over his sin. Like, he would talk about his heart wasting away and his conscience and his confidence failing, and until he confessed and received forgiveness, all this stuff. But David would sing to God. David would meditate on God's majesty. David would consider the night and the sky and the stars and get a revelation of how big God was. But in Psalm 27, I want to talk to you about the whole idea of praying in the midst of trial, what our focus should be. David talks about how the Lord is his light, the Lord is his salvation. And he talks about how there are these evildoers that are around him that want to eat his flesh. Now, guys, like, I don't care what you're walking through. I don't care like how difficult things may seem to be. I guarantee you there's not one of you watching right now that had a day where you were wondering, oh my gosh, this person wants to eat me. Like David was in some serious stuff. He had enemies that wanted to destroy him. He had a king that was envious of him, wanted to kill him. He had some pretty lonely nights and pretty bad moments where he felt alone and would sometimes even wonder where God was. And he talks about how war is waging around him and that a host of enemies encamp around him. And then he says this, and I think this is beautiful. He says, no, in the face of all that, he says, one thing I ask and one thing I will seek. So I need you guys to catch this. Like, no matter what you're walking through, no matter how difficult it is, no matter what the trial is, it's not about praying for relief from the trial. Because here's the secret of David's life. Here's people that want to eat him. It sounds crazy. Here's people that are waiting to destroy him. He's saying, one thing I ask, one thing I will seek, that I might dwell in the house of the Lord, that I might seek His beauty and meditate in His temple day and night. This is what David is saying. I want to know God. This is the strength. He talks about, in the face of this, I will be confident. I will not be afraid. And your faith comes out of the one that you're seeking. The more you know Him, the more faith is born. So like I said at the beginning of this video, guys, and I'll just end with this. It's not about, a lot of times, like, we're used to taking tests, in school and things like that, and we're used to tests revealing what we know. But I'm telling you, for the Christian, it's not about what you know. It's about who you know. So the next time you guys are faced with tough circumstances, don't pray to get out of them. Don't flex your authority to command these. I mean, that's whatever. You can do that stuff. You can tell storms to cease that shouldn't be there. but look for him in the midst of it. If David is able to do that, and he's saying, I'll be confident and I won't fear, and the reason why is because he's seeking God to dwell with him continually and to meditate in his temple day and night. If that's the source of his strength, it ought to be ours as well. So take the time, seek the face of the God that loves you, the face of the God that accepts you and is for you and is not against you. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a blessed day.
I'll keep asking for your kingdom to come. I'll keep looking